Okay, so welcome to the Men's Lifeline Academy. Today, we're going to be talking about self reflection and how we can reflect. And, well, this is the first time going live, so there'll be a lot of learning and growing to do. And it's all part of the journey of life is finding ways that we can grow. So hopefully, that maybe something will pop up in the chat so that way we can see and make some impact in life. And that's what we're always about. We are always focusing on how we can improve, and that's an important feature. And part of that is reflecting. Yeah. So right now, just reflecting on that you guys can see the green screen, reflecting on I was hoping that I was gonna be able to maybe edit this and that's all right. It's all about learning, growing, and seeing what we can do. And when we reflect, we really need to pay attention to what are our strengths and what are our challenges because we all have them. There's always going to be some form of gap in knowledge and things like that. That's going to happen. So, as we think about reflecting and growing, I've seen no one's in the chat right now, but just what are your thoughts on it? Whenever you might be seeing this and learning to grow. So, when we're reflecting on life, we can reflect on that. A lot of times life will have its ups and downs. We're going to reflect that there's going to be a lot of challenges to life. And that's okay. I mean, everything in life is about learning and growing and seeing what can happen. A lot of times people we get really hard on ourselves where we want to have all the answers. We want to know everything. We want to know how life is going to play out and what's going to happen and what are we going to do when you reflect on what is life. All life is unpredictable. Life has a lot of good, a lot of hardships in it, and a lot of lessons. And it takes a lot of self reflection to know that when we're growing and trying to improve our life, it's going to take time. All of us want to get there like right away, and that's not life. Life takes a things take a lot longer in life. Like, have you ever done like a project and you were hoping that project would take like 5 minutes? Yeah, it took like 5 hours. I mean, raise your hand if you've been there. I mean, I've been there. And that's hard. It's hard because we wanna have things done, we wanna know what's gonna happen and do things. And looks like Clover, hey guys, just so you guys know, this is Clover. Yeah, she just wanted to say hi, everybody, don't you? Kinda reflecting on your dogs. Sometimes they need some attention and they're just like kids. And they'll teach you a lot about life. They'll teach you a lot about patience. Come on, you wanna say hi to everyone? Come on, come on, say hi. I know, such a hi dog. So this is Clover. Yes, you're a good girl. And we need to reflect on taking care of what's important in life and enjoying the moment. And I should back over. Reflect on what did they get themselves into? So, and that's Lincoln. Hey, Lincoln, you want to make it coming in too? They've been good girls. They just, when you work all day, they always want to say hi and say they miss you. All right, go. Go. Go ahead. Go play with each other. And shows you how much when we reflect, how much we have to pay attention to how things can just come up and we don't always know what's going to happen, but know that someone always cares about you. And it's good to always have someone who's always going to have your back, who always wants to be around you. And when you find that, reflecting on being grateful. One of the lessons I really learned in life, and I actually learned this from my mom, is that the amount of friends you can really trust is going to be the amount that you can count on your hands. The friends that you can call at like 2 o'clock in the morning if you're struggling or that would check up on you. And I've learned in life to reflect on that, how true that is. And another fact is that one is always greater than zero. I think often we forget that. We forget that because we look at different things and how everyone looks like they have it all together. And we just need to be more aware that everyone's still trying to figure this out, figure out life, what's happening. And not to be so consumed about the end results. I know it's easier said than done because we all do. We all focus on the end results because we all want to get there quickly. But how many of us are willing to sacrifice everything to get what we want to achieve? And I'm not talking about sacrificing family time. I'm not talking about sacrificing things like that. I'm talking about sacrificing who you were to become who you are and who you want to be in life. That's more so what I mean is, are you willing to do the hard stuff to get better? Are you willing to do everything it takes to be different while at the same time acknowledging the things that make you unique and amazing? Because you have a lot of good qualities. So when we say we want to be a different person, we got to be careful with that a little bit. We need to reflect on that means being a different person. What does that look like? Is it being more patient? Is it being more kind, more charitable? What does that look like to you? Because that's going to look like different to everybody. And we need to think about that because we have a lot of good qualities that we want to keep, not get rid of. So I want us to think about that a little bit. What are some good qualities that you have? What are some qualities that you're concerned about? It's taking time to figure out who you are and who you want to be. So who do you want to be? Because as I reflect on just talking to myself right now, sometimes it's a reminder when we talk out loud what we need to hear as well. So we always need to strive to pay that attention to what's happening in life. So for those who don't know me, my name's Zach, and I'm just out here trying to make a difference, trying to make an impact in this world. Cheers. Got some nice little coffee. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Just reflecting. Sometimes the dogs need a bone or else they get in trouble. And that it's important about self-reflection because it's also important to knowing what do people need to be successful? What do people need? Have you taken time to kind of figure that out? So, self reflection is just understanding where you are in the current moment and where you want to go. We do that by writing things down and big on I'm and through journaling because I'm really big on it, and I think it's so important to do to recognize where you made mistakes and how you can grow so we can do better next time. As long as we're alive and we have breath in our lungs, there's always going to be a next time. We can always take time to make amends. We can always take time to develop, to grow, to find out what we can do. It's never too late. Even if you feel like you made a plethora of mistakes, don't give up. Believe that you can do this. Believe that you can improve. Believe that anything is possible. It just takes to going one step forward at a time. We're all going to be learning. We're all going to be trying to do this. We're always going to be working towards. Let's see if I can move this a little bit. All right, there we go. See, we're always learning. That's what's fun about life is that we can always learn, we can always grow. Like there's a lot of things I just learned about live streaming, which is nice. So the more that we can find ways to grow and improve, the better we're going to be for all of us. Because we're always trying to sharpen each other. We're always trying to find out ways that we can grow and develop. So, what are you hoping to achieve and grow? I'm always curious about hearing the life of other people and where do they want to go and grow and where do they see themselves? And this is what's fun about live streaming is that we're getting those reps in. Like I like this background. Got to fix it up a little bit. And there's a lot of things I need to get better at and learn. As I reflect on life, I realize who I am today isn't, who I was 5 years ago. And to be glad of that. So the more that we take time and we strive for things, the better we'll be. It's life isn't meant to be about getting hard on yourself. It's meant to be always finding that kaizen, that continuous improvement, that continuous learning. And that's what's awesome about life is that we get to explore this big world of ours. And the more that we get to do that, the better will all of us will be. The more that we can sharpen each other, the more that we can grow together, that's when we're going to shine the most. So it looks like we got a viewer. Awesome. So hope you're doing good today. Hope how you doing. Like, let me know. This is my first time ever doing this, and so we're talking about self reflection, and we're talking about how we can grow and develop, and had to pivot a little bit as we I didn't realize that with live streaming, it doesn't equate to like using the green screens. I was kind of hoping this. I think there's some software to look into to invest and to grow. So That's what we're always about. We're always about that reflecting, like, hey, I learned something new today, and kind of having a laugh at because life, you gotta laugh at life a little bit because it's full of irony, it's full of reflection, and it's full of you just gotta laugh when things happen. If the world was devoid of laughter, it'd be so dull. Just like how if the world didn't have music, I mean, reflect on that. Reflect on like a world without like laughter or music for a moment. Like, what would that be like? Be pretty boring, wouldn't it? Wouldn't be as fun. Wouldn't be as like how you're trying to figure things out in life and what do you do when things don't go well? So what are your thoughts on that? Like what are your thoughts? Let me put that in the chat. Like what are your thoughts on a world? Like what are your thoughts on a world without laughter, music, creativity? No. Let's reflect on that. Like what do you think would happen? Let me know in the comments, let me know in the chat. I think it'd be boring. Beyond boring. I think it'd be devolved. I think we lose that sense of connection of what would it mean to connect with others. And it's kind of a scary thought, honestly, to think of a world without laughter, a world without music. Because music is the one thing that stimulates the entire brain. Music is what helps connect all of us. And we need it. Just like how we need each other to help inspire each other to grow, to be able to see life again. One thing I always have a tendency of reflecting on is how people don't feel like their story has any worth or value to it. They're always looking to someone else who has like this bigger story, if you will. I talk about a lot of people with that in a day where they don't feel like they have a story. They don't feel like they're not somebody. And one of the things I work really hard to try to promote is that you are somebody. You're something special. You have worth, you have value. And one of the most important things I try to tell people is that your story matters. Like when it comes to pain, we have a tendency to actually like compare pain, like who has it worse. And I'm like, why are we comparing who had it worse? Like it's some type of competition. It's sad to think that we do that as people, that we're always comparing something. Always. Heights, features, looks, rather than like trying to connect with one another. See, pain, I believe pain is meant to help us have more compassion for each other, to know what it's like to suffer, to go through something difficult and hard. And I would much rather us take time to understand each other's pain and hurts and difficulties that we go through than to sit there on the sidelines just comparing it. Like, let's find the themes, let's find the commonalities, let's find that brotherhood that we can use to help support each other. I mean, that's what I'd rather spend my time on. Like, okay, you had a difficult life. Let's talk about it. Okay. This is what happened in my life. Here are some lessons I've learned. Oh, you learned similar lessons, use them in a different way. Okay, cool. Let's connect over that. Let's grow from that. That's what I'm more interested in. And so when we take time to do that, think how much more this world would be connected versus divided. If we took time to understand each other, if we took time to pray for one another, if we took time to even care about one another, how much different would this world be? Yeah, it would still have its hardships, it would still have its struggles, That's just the reality of life. There's no getting away from that. That's just the reality we live in. It's not supposed to be like a sad thought or a hardship. It's just a reality. And this world's tough. And to reflect on the fact that you can make a difference because you're somebody already, right? If you're somebody already, you can make a difference. You can open doors for someone, you can pay for someone's meal. You can even message someone saying, "Hey, I believe you. I believe in you. I want you to do well in life." And when you do that, when you actually put value into people, you see their eyes change. Eh, I mean, when they say the eyes on the beholder, that's so true because you can literally see when I've seen it so many times where you put faith into somebody, you put belief into somebody, and their eyes like sparkle. Like they go from like a dark eye to like a lighter eye. And the whole demeanor in the face and the body and the connection completely changes. And it's so beautiful to see. I mean, is that something you guys are willing to give it a shot? Is to be the difference, to take stands every single day, to believe that you have value, you have worth, and then to pass it on to somebody. How cool would that be if you took 5 seconds in a day and you put a belief into somebody? You told someone that you could do it. You told someone that you appreciated them for this reason. I mean, how amazing would that be for you? Like, just take time, just take a few let's just take a few minutes and just think about that. If you took time to see somebody, man, that'd be awesome. We need more of it. We need more people who can inspire others to live a positive life. Positive doesn't mean like you don't recognize the bad or the hardships in life. It's not about that. It's about having a belief that good things can happen through the trials, through the tribulations, through the heartache, that at the end of the day, you can make a difference in someone's life. Just thinking about that is amazing. I love that idea. I love that idea of thinking what would happen if you just put belief in the people, told people that there's somebody, that there's something already. And that's something I've always been in my entire life. I've always been known as someone who encourages others, always been an overcomer, overachiever. And I like the idea that putting faith into somebody, that the person in front of us can be just have a day where they can just give a smile, even if it's partly a smile. Knowing that there's at least one good person in this world. Because I like to do simple math, and that math is one is always greater than zero. Always. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that? The power of belief. What do you think could happen if we actually took a stance for people and did the right thing because it's the right thing to do? Opening doors, calling someone if they need help, and not asking anything in return, but just doing something good for the sake of doing something good. I mean, when do we lose that? When do we lose that thought process that we need something in return if we do something good? I know some people say that they always question if altruism, doing something for the sake of doing it, altruism, doing something for the sake of doing something good is a real thing, that intrinsic reward, doing something because you know it's right. Because we're always looking for some type of reward. They always wonder if it even exists. I don't know. Because even, I mean, some people say thank you, and sometimes that's a reward in itself. Question is, did you do the good deed for the sake of the good deed, or did you do it for a thank you? Because you're getting something back too. So I don't know. I believe though that, I mean, because it also increases the likelihood that you're going to do something again, that positive reinforcement. So if we do something and someone adds something, that positive reinforcement, I mean, it's powerful. I mean, just telling someone, "Hey, I believe in you," is positive reinforcement because you're adding a positive to their life. You're adding something to it. I think we need to do that more. How about you? What are your thoughts? Think we need to do that more? Take care of each other, support each other? Why? Why not? Let me know. Curious. I always like to ask questions and get to know what people are thinking and their thoughts because I learn something. That's also another thing to reflect on is that people don't like asking questions because they don't want to look foolish, stupid. Well, you have to risk looking foolish if you're going to grow and learn. Some of the brightest people ask questions. It may take time to formulate what the question is, and that's okay. A lot of things take time and thought. That's why the reflecting is, how can I add to my learning if I don't ask a question? Because I don't know everything. I don't know everything. No one does. We're not God. We don't know everything. How things work out. Why do they happen for a reason? We just have to figure out what do we need and how do we need that support. That's what we need to focus on. We need to focus on that we can grow. We need to focus on that we can develop. We need to focus on that we can be kind to one another. I think if we focus more on that, we'll be okay. Because if enough of us do things that are right for the sake of doing it right, taking care of each other, donating, volunteering, that's how we live an honorable life, caring about each other. If we have some vices or things that are harming us in some way, to learn how to reduce those to the best that we can. I mean, all of us are going to struggle. I mean, that's just a reality. Question is, what do you do when you struggle? Are you gonna, are you going to give up? That's an option. Are you going to fight another day? That's an option. What are you going to do when life gets really difficult and hard? What are you going to do? Because we can feel like doing a lot of things. And what do we do with that feeling? Do we follow it? Or do we ask ourselves, is this worth it? And that's hard because there's a lot of things in life that will happen one way. You think you're planned and it goes the opposite way. It happens. We get to decide how we respond to the stressors and to reflect on that. And that's like the most important thing sometimes you can tell someone is that you have a choice. We all do. Every single one of us will have a choice in what to do in life. Reflect on that. Reflect on that. You have more choices than what we realize. We just have to take time to discover what is that choice. What do we need to do? So this segment, this live stream is School of Life. It's all about learning, living, and growing because life is school. What do you do in school? You prepare for, you learn the subjects, and then you get tested with pop quizzes, tests, and then that's when you see areas you know, areas you don't know. And so school of life is what we're focused on, is seeing life as school. Some people don't like school. Not everyone does. That's okay. Bottom line is learning how to follow directions, believing in yourself, and just doing the very best you can. Following through on your interests and hobbies. You know, don't being so hard on yourself. That's something to reflect on. Don't be hard on yourself. A lot of people are hard on themselves. A lot of people don't like each other, like themselves. So how can you help somebody if you don't like yourself? We'll let that question for a moment. I just want everyone to do the best that they can and to support each other. I've been on YouTube for 6 years this December. At the end of December, it'll be 6 years. And I'm still reflecting on how much more I have to learn, grow, develop, communicate, speak. It's fun. It really is fun. You have to develop the mentality that everything we do is going to be fun. I know Jim Rohn said, and I reflect on this at least once a day. Don't wish it was easy. Wish you were better. And that's definitely something that I'm trying to do the best I can. It's hard. It's hard when things don't go your way, don't go where you thought it would go. It's difficult. It's challenging, and it's have to really take time to figure out how we can grow and develop. And that's something I always catch myself, and I catch myself sometimes being negative and going down that spiral. I always ask myself, "Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better." And then do everything you can be to get better and as quickly as you can by doing life, learning about life. So, where do you want to go in life? When you reflect on the life that you want to live, what does that look like? What does that look like to you? I'm curious, very curious, and because I think we need to. I think we need to focus on what does that look like. And promises will look a lot better. I'll figure things out. That's what I've been reflecting on since being out here. It's like, wow, you can probably tell this is definitely live stream one of many to come. Getting, as some people say, getting those reps in, getting that practice in. Because you never know what life can be, what could happen. I reflect on being on YouTube for almost 6 years now, 6 years in December again. And I reflect on how much I've grown in video recording, editing, and just how much more I still have to go, and reflecting on what can we do. Always ask yourself, what can you do to grow? Because when we open up ourselves to a can do attitude, that things are possible, we begin to find the solutions and the validations. The validation is when we just affirm our thoughts and feelings. We don't necessarily, have to always agree with them. We just have to acknowledge them. And then we can, begin to problem solve. Sometimes people are quick to problem solving that we forget to listen. How have you ever experienced that? That you're just so quick on wanting to solve all the problems because it feels so uncomfortable when there's an issue or a problem and you just want it to go away. If you have, I mean, that's just normal. It's about being human. The key difference, though, is the key difference is honestly taking that time to learn from it. So, what are you hoping? So, as we kind of wrap up in the next 5 or so minutes, I hope you got value out of this. Moving forward, they're going to be a lot more structured and free flowing. And, even if this takes them 5, 10 years, that's okay. I made the commitment to do the best I can to help inspire positive impact one person at a time, one life at a time was a saying I came up with a couple of years ago. And I always live by, knowing that whatever I can do to help people, I'm going to do. I think it's important to help people. I think it's important to instill encouragement, belief, and grow. Do the best we can. So I hope everyone got value out of this. Let me know your feedback, your comments, the good, the great, and yeah, you got to improve a lot. We're gonna be doing that though. We're gonna be having some laughs, some cheers. You got to see the puppies earlier today. If you didn't, you got to see. If you didn't get a chance to see them, my two dogs, Clover and Lincoln, came by, stopped by as they're with me on this adventure. So I hope everyone has a blessed day. I hope everyone does well. I want to thank you for those who did join. I want to thank you so much. I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you for your time. Be blessed.